Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Rome Business Radio. This is the Hardy Realty Show, and I am Roger Manus with Rome Business Radio, and we are broadcasting from the Hardy Realty Studios, and we work in cooperation with the Rome News Tribune. We got a great show for you today. Our Hardy Realty representative on this fine broadcast is Jimmy Kelley. Hi, Jimmy. How are you?
Splendid. Happy Wednesday.
We are in our Zoom room. We are dangerously close to getting back into a studio post-pandemic, but we're still in the Zoom room, and all the images look great. The audio sounds great, so I'm very excited. Jimmy, and what is your role at Hardy Realty?
I am the commercial broker, and I handle both sales, leasing, property management, and lately a lot of maintenance.
Lately, a lot of maintenance. Full disclosure here, you guys also handle the property management for the Manus Business Center, which is a family thing. That's my father's property investment there at the corner of Turner McCall and Broad Street. Used to be the Georgia Power Building, but it is now the Manus Business Center. So thank you for the fine work y'all do helping us get that going again.
Thank you. We appreciate the work.
Yeah, we do have some space for lease. So, if you're interested, reach out to Jimmy at Hardy Realty. But there's the conflict of interest out of the way now. Our guest today is Ryan Somerville. Hi, Ryan. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm just hunky-dory, as we say down south. You are with Business Water Solutions. And from the name of that company, I got a pretty good idea what you guys do.
Yes, sir.
That's not one of those names where you have to figure it out. But right. Just if you could give us an overview, what is Business Water Solutions all about?
Yeah, it was started about 3 years ago by Mike and George Barron, and it's basically what we do. We service small businesses, large businesses, and we do water filtration for their business. So instead of the jug water, we come in and we do all the plumbing, and we do all the service on it, and we set up a water cooler without the jug. And again, we do all the plumbing. We do everything for free in terms of any plumbing that we have to do, and we do ice machines too for restaurants, for like Moe's Barbecue, La Scala, and so again, we buy the machine. And then we service it for them for a set cost. And
the beauty of the process is this is heavily filtered. This becomes really, really clean. In fact, I think I went to your website. Is it a 13-step filtration process?
It is. And there's 5 filters in each of our coolers, and has reverse osmosis. And then the last filter actually adds 20 vitamins and minerals to each cup of water. So it's super clean. We are able to do now a hands-free machine. So there's a foot pedal at the bottom of the machine that you just put your foot on and water comes out, which has been really big for like a place like Rome City Schools. They have about 100 machines in terms of all their schools, not 100 at each school, but in total about 100 machines. And the big thing for them was being able to be hands-free. So the kids can just hit it with their foot and water comes out.
Right. So there's I guess there's several layers of stuff going on here. There's the pandemic and germs, and then there's just clean water generally, even before the pandemic that we were dealing with. So right. What's in our water that we don't know about? Scare me.
Well, if you, and I wish I had a test kit that I would show you, but if just the amount of chlorine, the amount of dirt, just the amount of stuff that's in, not necessarily Rome City water, but just overall how, kind of nasty tap water is. It's pretty gross in terms of just the amount of metal that's in your water. And with our system, it takes all that completely out. It's been, the pandemic has helped us. But just people wanting clean water too. Everybody talks about pH levels and alkalinity and things like that. So our alkalinity is around above 9. And if you go to a gas station or grocery store, the most expensive bottle of water is normally alkalinity or a pH level above 9, which is what we offer. So that's another selling point in terms of what we tell customers that are asking us, what's the difference between your water and jug water? So that's helped us too.
Well, and it's interesting. I guess when you think in terms of water, you think of hydration, and you don't think necessarily in terms of taste.
Right.
I guess we would say water really doesn't have a taste, but I guess it probably does when you filter it the way you guys filter it.
Yeah. And a lot of people that are big water drinkers are like, this is the best water we've ever had. We did, we did an install for Murchie High School this past week, and the principal was like, man, everybody loves your water. So apparently from water fountains to our system, apparently people really can tell a difference between the taste. And so with schools, we've just been taking out their water fountains because there's no filter on a water fountain. It's just tap water coming out cold. And so it's a super easy install for us because there's power and there's water. So we don't have to do really any plumbing or any installation that, cost us a lot of money because there's power and water already there.
Right. So Jimmy, what is, so I guess as property person at Hardy, I would imagine BWS, Business Water Solutions, services some of the businesses that you guys manage. What's the relationship between you and Ryan? Is it business or personal or?
Both. Ryan's principals are also some of our business partners as well.
I got you. And on the
we've been with the Barron Bunch since the 60s, apparently. So,
and there's some family connection here. Y'all know each other. You knew parents, yes, or people went to school together or whatever it was we were talking about before the show.
I think, yeah, at least from what y'all have already said, all three of us attended that fine institution
of Darlington School.
Yep.
I was there 8th, 9th, and 10th grade, and I mentioned to you guys before we started that I didn't finish there because we moved to Atlanta, but Darlington still invites me to reunions, and occasionally they ask me for some money. But okay,
the annual fund.
That's just business. I certainly enjoyed my time there way back. So Jimmy, tell me a little bit about how long have you been with Hardy?
I started with Hardy in 1986.
Okay.
And then Hardy, it changed hands a couple of times since I joined. And at one point, we, three of the brokers left to do commercial real estate since Hardy was gearing towards residential. And then one of my schoolmates from Darlington approached me and wanted to bring commercial back to Hardy, and that was in 2007. And I came back to Hardy. So, but I started here back when Mr. Klopfelter and Mr. Rooney were still at Hardy Realty.
And now, of course, it's Jimmy Byers. So,
correct,
Jimmy, are you one of these people that knows everybody in town?
I can't go to a restaurant without my wife saying something or my children that I must be running for office because I seem to speak to everybody.
So do you ever get seated and get your meal?
Eventually. I did last night. I was talking to Ryan about that and went to Blossom Hill.
But then you must be a good person to know. So if somebody needs something done, so tell me about how the business on your side of Hardy, they're dealing with the commercial real estate. How has that been impacted by the pandemic and COVID? And then I'll swing it back around to Ryan with the same subject because of their business with the germ-free controls, but with property management and trying to lease office space, things like that. How have you guys been impacted?
Well, when it first started, we had some of the major players that are national tenants. All of them asked for some rent abatements because no one knew how this thing was going to affect everything. But aside from those, we have done very well. When you see stuff in Atlanta, California, everywhere else, and they're only collecting, say, 50% of their rents, we weren't down 5%. As a matter of fact, we came out because we're Rome, Georgia. Most of our stuff is mom and pops. And thankfully, not everybody was affected badly. We never shut the door. I mean, we had the doors locked at Hardy, but some of us were here every day.
Right. we mentioned the Manus Business Center earlier, office space available at the corner of Turner McCall and Broad Street. But what other properties do you manage? A bunch. Can you say?
5 shopping centers. Let's see. Central Plaza Village, West End, Alto. We do the old Sears building, the Floyd Medical Administrative buildings. And we've got probably half of Broad Street we manage.
Yeah. And do you have anything to do with the residential side at all?
I'm not a leasing agent for residential, but yesterday I was at the lofts. So it just depends on where I'm drug out of here to go check on.
Well, it's just so funny because we hear so much about that the past year through the pandemic, especially the housing market has just taken off. Is that a similar thing to on the commercial side, or you said your business had been very good, but can you equate it?
It has not. It is not the same as residential.
Right.
Residential, I mean, you could have $100,000 house that you could sell last year, and this year it's 125. I mean, I never saw anything like it. I've been in it since '86, but the commercial has been active. It is not like residential.
Yeah, sure. Okay. That's what I was curious, because the pandemic has affected everything, some good, some bad, obviously. Ryan, I guess in your business there at Business Water Solutions, everything has to be so germ conscious now. And you mentioned the touchless. Just tell me how that might have changed your strategies.
Yeah, it is completely changed. Kind of the way that we sell and manage the business. When COVID hit, we kind of met and said, all right, let's take a step back. We didn't want to do any selling. We were like, you know what, let's make people call us for a month or two. We don't want to knock on people's doors. We don't want to set up appointments. We don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable, or at this point, nobody was obviously trying to spend any money because nobody knew what was going on. So we just kind of took a step back, and we still kept getting calls from people wanting our service, which was great. And then June of last year hit, and one day Redmond, Darlington, and Rome City schools called and said, hey, we're in. So all of a sudden we had 3 major players in Rome want our service. And it was really because of the just being able to do touchless. And since then, especially with schools, we probably have between Rome City, Floyd, Bremen, Polk, we probably have about 200 plus coolers in schools right now.
Wow.
And so that's been a big thing, is having these foot pedals. And then it's funny, local businesses like a dentist office will be like, hey, we've heard about it, we want one. And it's just being able to have all it is a foot pedal. There's nothing fancy to it. And they can get water without touching it. So that's the pandemic has, fortunately for us, has been really beneficial.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I was going to mention, but you touched on it there. So it's not just big organizations. You can do a water cooler in a small little business.
Right. We do it for people that have, we did one in Cartersville last week, and there was 3 people. It was basically a father, son, and a wife. And so, but we can also do Southeastern Mills, or we can do Cary in Rome, or Redmond. So we can do as big or small. It doesn't matter to us. And at the end of the day, the cooler is a big part of it, but also our service, how we just treat our customers. That's what we're really trying to sell.
So does it amount to a monthly subscription after installation?
It does. It's just a monthly price.
Yeah.
There's really no contract. We don't like people. We don't like, nobody likes a contract. And we don't really want to bind anybody that says, oh, if you don't like it, you got to pay us. If you don't like it, you don't like it. We deal with so many customers that say, oh my gosh, they're making us pay a contract. I'm like, you know what? We're not going to do that to y'all. At the end of the day, we want happy customers. If you don't like it, you don't like it.
Well, and one of the interesting things that you don't really think about is when you're dealing with like a big water cooler, for example, those take up space. Those take up storage space in your break room or wherever. And it might not be too inconvenient, but it is. Space is space.
Well, that's what Redmond, they were so tired. Like I remember we walked in with the meeting. This was before COVID, and we walked in with their CFO, and there was water jugs outside of the hospital in the ER parking lot. And I took a picture. I was like, look what you got in your parking lot. And with us, once we install it, unless there's an issue, you won't see us. So there's not a lot of people walking in and out of your business with water jugs, and you have no inventory control with those jugs. They could bring you 10 or 2 or 12 or 20 or whatever. With us, once it's hooked up, I mean, I may come by every now and then and say, hey, but you're not going to, unless there's a service issue, you won't see us.
Well, and then another thing is, I guess when all those jugs are left, it's typically up to the business owner to change them out.
It's always women that always have to. How many secretaries I talk to are random office managers, and they're like, these sweet old ladies, like, yeah, I'm picking up a 50-pound, water jug. And so I'm like, yeah, you don't have to do that. So, and nobody cleans them, of course. So,
well, I was going to say, you said rarely would you guys have to come out. Like, do you? What's the process of when do you need to change filters or things like that?
So those are once a year, and we handle all that. We're not going to send them to the business and say, hey, you got to change them out. We do that, right? That's what we do. We contact the business saying, hey, we'll be there on Monday. In fact, my guys right now, they're at Redmond right now doing all of Redmond's filter changes. So we handle all that for the customer. We don't make them do anything in terms of service their machine. And then we have a 24-hour guarantee that we'll be out, or you start getting free months. So, of course, we're out there pretty quick.
I've always been a little bit of a germaphobe about certain things. And some people are worse than me. I'm not bad, but I've been a little bit of one. And I used to work in a large business, and a lot of people use the water cooler and don't even think about stuff like that. Filling up like a plastic bottle, a water bottle, and, and people flipping the tab down. And then I noticed that on the spout coming out of the water cooler was a bunch of lipstick.
Oh, yeah.
So somebody had lipstick on their water bottle, and then they stuck their water bottle right up to the spout and got the lipstick all over the spout, and like everybody else the rest of the day. And so, I immediately cleaned it and like, oh, my goodness, what have I been drinking?
Yeah, pretty gross. And our machines are kind of designed. I guess if you really wanted to put your mouth on the spout, but it would be really, really hard to. And so we haven't had that come up yet. But you never know, I guess.
Well, yeah, if everybody just use cups and, mugs or what have you. So what is your background prior to Business Water Solutions? We mentioned you went to Darlington, which is a common link here of the three of us. And, we'll visit back with Jimmy here in a while. But before that, you were like in the restaurant franchisee business?
I was. My cousin, Mark Brewster in Rome, he owns Garden Lakes Real Estate. We owned 2 Zaxby's together in North Carolina. And so I managed and operated that and was a licensee I had 2 Zaxby's, one in Cary, which is near Raleigh, and one in Durham, which is right by Duke. And so I did that for about 10 years. And after 10 years of the restaurant world, it was, kind of burned me out a little bit, and working 6-7 days a week. And I had 3 daughters, and decided, time to spend more time with my wife and kids. And so decided to sell. And I did that in August of 19.
Okay.
And so took some time off, and then got connected with the Barons, and they needed someone to kind of operate and manage BWS. And so that's how I kind of got connected with them.
And that's what brought you back to Rome. But were you born in Rome?
I was.
Yeah.
And so was my wife. And it was one of those things where we never really imagined coming back. It wasn't any, we love Rome, but we never thought. We were happy in North Carolina. But then once this opportunity came back to work with good people like the Barons, we decided to give it a shot. And so far we have really, really enjoyed being back.
Well, it's one of the things I like asking on the show, and Jimmy, I'll ask you this too. It's kind of people's backgrounds, because we're here to celebrate business and talk business. And to me, it is interesting. Some people know what they want to do at the age of 15, and they go do it, and they do it forever. And they might branch off a little bit here into this little side business or that side business. But some people just have an entrepreneurial thing. They'll bounce from this career to that career, or, it doesn't matter. Well, Jimmy, we know you've been doing real estate since '86, but what was your background prior to that?
I graduated from University of Georgia with a geology degree. And I went to Houston. I lived in Houston for 2.5 years, drilling oil.
Wow.
And then I wanted to come home. So I worked for an engineering company, Geohydro Engineers. And ironically, I took the real estate course while I was still working for Geohydro. So, because I wanted to buy a house and I wanted to understand what I was getting into. And I'm just that kind of guy that has to study up on something. And I was actually building the Manus Business Center. I was pouring the concrete in that every day. Actually, that's when I got engaged and then married. And Mr. Kloppfelter knew I was taking that course, and he came and offered me a job at Hardy Realty. And I took it, and I hadn't looked back. This is what I was meant to do.
Well, where did the interest in geology come from?
Oh, I like rocks, fossils. I love vertebrate paleontology. I got all into that kind of stuff. I'm a rock doctor.
Right. Do you still have that? Is that like a hobby now?
I have them. I have a whole basement full of rocks, fossils, minerals. I think it's pretty cool.
So you went from you born and raised in Rome?
No, I was born at Duke.
Oh,
I was born at Durham. Wow. I was born at Duke University Medical Center. And then my dad was approached by the three Harbin brothers to come to Rome, Georgia to practice orthopedic surgery. And they came to Rome, Georgia because they had two little boys, and they came to Rome, Georgia because of Darlington School.
Wow. And so you went to Darlington, University of Georgia, off to Houston to drill for oil.
Yep.
Well, that's probably an entire show in itself. Then back here, still working in geology, and then the Hardy Realty door opened.
That's correct.
And you had to look back. Why is it so special to you? You said you were born to it. What makes it a perfect fit?
I love the deal. I'm not Donald Trump by any stretch, but I love putting together deals, putting people in business, getting them started. I mean, it's very satisfying. Back in 91, I think it was 91 at Hart, we built Applebee's. That was the first big restaurant to come to Rome. And I'm still proud of that.
Sure. Ryan, what is your biggest satisfaction? What's the big kick you get out of your job every day?
I enjoy, obviously selling is something I enjoy and managing our sales team, but really I enjoy getting emails talking about how great our service is. I think to me, especially coming from a customer service background, I just think having happy customers is so much more. It's so satisfying to me. Getting emails saying, "Oh my gosh, y'all were here within 20 minutes." It's something to me that means more than just selling and making money. Just having the reputation of having great service is something that I thrive off of, and I think our company will continue to thrive on.
Yeah, so that gets back to the core of good business is just personal relationships.
Yeah,
So,
just answering your phone. Like, we're dealing right now with a customer in Atlanta, and they're trying to deal with canceling their contract with another water company and using us. And he's like, I have to go through 10 different people, and I have to have a ticket created for this case. And I'm like, just call me and we'll do whatever. You got my cell phone number. You can text me, call me, and we'll be there. And so with another company, a larger company maybe, but it just, to me, I enjoy being able to have that. All you do is call me and we're there. And I always answer my phone no matter what.
Oh, well, Ryan, Jimmy, that sounds like the real estate business too, because I have never known a real estate person not to give out their cell phone number. That is all you guys live and breathe with that phone, don't you?
Absolutely.
In fact, if you go to the Hardy Realty website under their list of agents, it lists everybody's cell phone right on the website.
You have to.
So talk to me about how important relationships are in your line of work, Jimmy.
Oh, and again, talking about, I hate to do this, but Darlington School, when I look at some of my clients, there's a relationship, and a lot of times either they went there or their children went there, or they're related to somebody out there. I mean, of course, I married into a bunch of Darlington people that make my daughters are both fourth generation Darlington graduates.
Wow.
So, and I build some of my best clients came through that relationship. And once you get one of them, you don't let them loose. I mean, I love the people I work with.
Yeah, it's such a great town to do business. I've got a lot of cousins in Rome, so somebody might know my cousin based on a last name. I've actually got some cousins that were the Greens. Dr. Randy Green was the dentist in town forever, and his children are my cousins. He married my father's sister, but there's a lot of Manus cousins running around Rome, and I just get a big kick out of when I run into somebody. Oh, are you related to so-and-so? Well, sure. And that might open a door for this or might open a door for that. I guess that's just part of good business in a good little town.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, how can people get a hold of you, or if they want to learn more about Business Water Solutions, social media, website, phone numbers, what's the best way to solve their water needs at their places of work?
They can go to businesswatersolutions.com, and I think it's on the top right. They can do a free trial, and it'll come directly to me. So they put in their information, their business, their phone number, and we'll give them a week or two. We'll come install it for free. We don't make them sign anything really. So they can get a free trial, see if they like it. If they like it, they like it. If they don't, we'll come take it out. No questions asked. Or they can call me at 205-826-2477. And I'll pick up my phone.
And just to review, this is something you come install it, you attach into their power and plumbing.
We do all that for free, no matter what it costs us. We've been on top of warehouses running 1,000 feet of water line, and we don't ever charge the customer, no matter how much it costs us. We do it all for free. And those first week or two, we'll just let them have it, see if they like it. We've never had a customer say, "Hey, we don't like it, come take it out." So the free trial has been really cool. But yeah, then go on the website, fill out a little form, and it'll shoot it to me, and we'll come install it.
Well, that's your perfect track record right there. Nobody's ever asked for, yeah. And Jimmy, contact information for you. People need to lease or have something for lease in the commercial side. How do they get a hold of you at Hardy Realty?
Jimmy K at hardyrealty.com or cell phone 706-346-7031.
And their website is hardyrealty.com. And of course, Jimmy, you can reach out to Jimmy or Jimmy Byers if you want to rent some office space in the Manus Business Center at the corner of Turner, McCall, and Broad, right downtown.
Correct.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Ryan with Business Water Solutions, Jimmy with Hardy Realty. This has been fantastic. Appreciate you guys joining us. You've been listening to Rome Business Radio. This has been the Hardy Realty Show, coming to you from the Hardy Realty Studios, and we work in cooperation with the Rome News Tribune. I'm Roger Manus Jr. Thank you so much for listening.